Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
Yeah, I didn't go immediately into the podcast because I wanted to let you start, Hamish. And what you
Never
do,
gonna turn
just
around
roll
and
over.
desert you.
See, previously
gosh.
we've done it covertly. We've dropped the lines into everyday conversation.
That's just
now
you,
it's just
Simon. It's
in your
just you.
face.
Oh,
I don't know what I got in my head. Someone had said something about not giving something up.
Yeah, I
What
was.
it?
I was actually listening to it on the way home from
Oh,
work.
Actually a
I
banger
said,
as
I know
well.
that I
That's
said, because Simon said, "Do you know? Have you been watching the NFLs like week one?" And I said, "Yeah, I know the score," and that's what triggered it.
That was it. That was it. And then I started singing it.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
know the rules. But you didn't even say that. You said
Yeah.
I know the score. And so do I. Welcome to the Push Point podcast. We don't just sing songs. We also talk
80s
about
bangers.
talk
Yeah.
about stuff that's not flesh and blood. We also talk about stuff that is flesh and blood.
It's pretty quiet. I feel like there's a low energy.
I feel
I
like
feel like we're going to build
we
tonight. I feel like it's a builder.
we gave so much of ourselves on Nationals weekend. We are still hungover from that. Even though it was,
yes.
as Simon was saying, it was like 10 days ago. It was actually a crazy busy weekend.
It was a crazy weekend.
My God, a lot went down. But
Yeah.
should we go straight into what we're drinking?
Yeah, please.
And
then we'll do
a little bit of home news.
like literally just a small like headliner home news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just do something at the beginning of the podcast for once, please?
Oh, right.
yes.
We should do right.
Oh,
So
Can we just do that first?
Yeah, okay. Before we
then...
do giveaways, can we just say that we do have a Patreon, everyone. We've got a new person. Well, we've got a new team that's joined us, which is Thistle Tavern. If you are a patron, you get 10% off on all singles that when you order online. You also get 5% off on Living Realms and Metal Fab Tokens when new stuff comes in, because I distribute it. If you're a patron, you get a heads up first. So
I can see some in the background, Hamish. Look.
wow, that's so official, Hamish.
Oh God, I thought you meant my daughter.
Yeah.
I literally had a panic attack. I was
just the
like,
deck
there is a all this stuff behind me. If you're looking on YouTube, it's full of
I
stuff.
have my deck
Anyway,
box out, but it's behind my monitor.
what else do we give to the patrons trip?
The other thing is we do every episode, Hamish. Every episode of Push Point, we give away 6 packs of the latest set of Flesh and Blood, which is currently Dusk Till Dawn. So far, those packs have been incredibly fire.
They have.
Full of fire. There's been 2 legendary and a cold foil.
And then a cold foil.
Yeah,
the book.
Grimoire.
Pretty sick. So we have done the roll, and I just want to say a huge congratulations to Marcus Archer, who is the 3rd winner of the 6-pack giveaway. So congratulations, Marcus. Marcus has been in the game for a very long time. I think that he's down in Southampton way,
Bournemouth,
as far as I'm aware.
isn't it?
Yeah, that neck of the woods down middle
south.
south.
Relatively new
south.
Patreon as well. He's only been on the scheme for a couple of months. So.
The scheme. We've been told by the Americans.
We've been told.
Yeah, we've been told
What
by
were we
Brandon
told?
from Metal Fab
Don't
Tokens.
call it a scheme,
because
even
it
though we're
sounds-
scheming.
Well, it's the UK.
Well, with a mustache like this, I have to be an evil villain. I mean, hey, come and join my scheme.
Consider joining because we do a lot of giveaways, a lot of good discounts now, and a lot of ways to sort of make your money back. But obviously, it's all about supporting the podcast and being able to put money into the podcast, put money into the streams, and the stuff we're doing is great. But we won't talk about it for too much longer. Let's go into the drinks, shall we? I don't know when it is. I don't start the drinks. So...
Hamish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon.
What are you drinking tonight, bud?
Well, I've got a very cold and classic, as we would say, wee water, because I don't want to swear. Foster's.
Wee water.
Well,
wow.
I can't say
no.
I can't say what we would normally call this.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. So wee water.
I feel like this is why there's low energy, right? This is why we've started this. Hamish has got a Foster's.
Simon, what are you drinking?
This could definitely be the worst.
A Coke Zero because I'm on call for work.
This is tragic.
So,
It's the most tragic.
And what about you, wild card?
Trip. The wild card.
I'm drinking a leftover bottle of white wine.
Okay, that's
very
pretty
cold.
wild card.
It's a Viognier. And it's from Naked
Viognier.
Wines.
Gosh,
it's from,
praise you, Simon, for saying the word, because up until now I had absolutely no idea what to say. You
just
jumped
rely on
right in there
Simon.
with the pronunciation. So thank you, Simon. I also know that is what it is called.
And
And
I
how it is
think it's
pronounced, but
is that from Darnold Brewery Winery, Naked Wines?
and he's got it in one, ladies and gents.
Whoa.
It's almost a bit weird, really, when you think about it.
You
but,
sounded like Porky Pig there for a second. Like he got that
he
right, folks.
got that right, folks. Well done,
I just
Simon,
like
I'm
the
impressed.
artwork on the bottles. I used to get Naked
Yeah,
Wines.
let me
and,
get the old label.
nice.
I was gonna quit, and then I decided not to.
Okay.
You mean they
tasty.
talked it back into you? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's not
a bit
even
like
God,
like
I thought we're not going to
52.
stick on this bit. This is
the thing with Naked Wines is not sponsored, but it's not like you pay monthly and get wine. You put money
just
into an
pay
account
whenever
and
you
then you
want.
spend that money on wine.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't really lose anything. So, and it's really good stuff. But anyway, guys, it's hot as hell in the UK. But I hope you have a nice cold drink. And cheers. I'm still gonna clink you.
clinky.
I'm not sure about that Foster's though, mate. That is a wild one.
Well,
Did you
how
just have
long?
that
How
trip?
long are we in? No, I can't say it yet. Right. So
It's not the heat that gets you, boys, is it?
it's the humidity.
It's the humidity.
It's the humidity of it.
So yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's been a very humid week.
Okay, I'll do home news. I'm just going to basically level this on to weather-wise. It is hot, and my daughter kicked me in the face. Right.
Wow, someone had to.
No,
but
tell you-
I was surprised it was her.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've been kicked in the face. And she
Must
just
have got a really good flying kick going. If
Well,
she's
no, I
able
was like,
to,
she because it's been really hot every night. She wakes up and she comes into bed, and if you've got, if you're dad, you've got kids, they come into bed, right? And
They never stay still.
No, they don't. And their heel has a homing missile, like it's a homing trained to the groin area, right?
Oh, nasty.
It is
100%.
It is
Absolutely
trained.
100%.
They just go, and she does like literally a jackhammer up, down. So I had to lay on my I had to lay on my side, and I had to lay on the side that she's not facing. But this time around, I thought, you know what, I'm going to turn around, and she was rolling around, and she's like an alligator, right? She just spins and spins,
Death
and
roll.
then her head was like where face head is, and her feet was where my face was, and she just went, "Boah," and I was like, I've had enough of this. And she's allergic to fans for some reason. She hates fans.
That sucks.
I love her.
She only hates fans these past few days, but she literally got out of bed while we were asleep and turns them off. So we're just like,
and then when everyone wakes up,
it's just hell. So there you go. Have kids, everyone. What about you, Simon?
Well, I've been pretty much out of action since nationals. I got some kind of gnat's flu and came home and basically couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. Other than that, had a pretty good weekend once we recovered. Pretty
I've
chill.
got a question to ask, right? You know when you're ill, I don't know if it's just me, but when you recover from an illness, I feel like that's some of the best feelings ever is when you're getting over like a cold, and it's just this. I don't know. Well, it's something about that day after a rough flu, and you're on the mend. That you're like,
I do get what you're saying.
Yeah,
not so
it's
much
just-
for the not
no,
for
not
the
the
flu,
flu,
but
but
like
it's, when that feeling of being on the
yeah.
mend feels really good.
when you're like, oh, I forgot how nice it was
Yeah.
to
To
feel
not
healthy.
feel
normal,
Like
yeah.
really appreciate the time when you are, because you're like a lot of the time. I have this with my headaches, right? So like when I don't have a headache, I'm just like, this is the best. This is so good. Or like when one's gone, I'll be like very hyperactive. 'Cause I'm just
Yeah,
like,
because you
my
just
God, sun is shining. Everything is great. This is amazing. This is what life should always be like.
Trip,
And
you
it's
live
like,
in
yeah.
you literally are a migraine, right?
I know.
So
I was in
Nikki,
such a
Nikki has
good
had
mood.
that realization today, Hamish, because at the weekend we went to a friend's birthday, and Nikki had that reminder, that once a year reminder of why she doesn't go heavy on the drink very often.
Oh,
I was the designated driver.
Oh, here we
And,
go.
The comparison a friend made was when you were trying to leave, it was like trying to remove a child from a soft play center. Like
Well, she
every time I
smashed.
turned around, she was just like she disappeared again to go and say hello to another person. Like I was like, no, come on, we're going now.
Simon, was
And,
was she smashed?
Oh, 2-day hangover.
Oh, she was.
days.
Oh, man. Yeah, but when
Yeah.
we're older, sometimes you think,
Oh,
yeah,
she
but
was fragile this morning as well. Like,
fair
it was,
enough. But you know, when I don't think I've been hammered for a long time. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, and
hammered.
it sort of crept up on her. She was drinking
Mm.
rum and coke,
Okay.
and someone else was
easy.
pouring the rum,
Ooh.
Oh no.
and yeah, there was no control over the measure.
Yeah, but
there.
you know when you sort of gone past, like when you've gone past being drunk, that like the really strong stuff just doesn't. You don't seem to, like, I don't know, get affected by it too much, and that's when it starts to go.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like you
My favourite
turbocharged to hell.
My favourite conversation of the night was me having spotted. You know, when you just know, don't you? When you've been with someone for that long and you've seen them,
Yeah, you just.
I knew how far she'd gone, and I tried to
Was she
I tried
really
to tell her
talkative?
that, and she was not in the mood to hear that she was more drunk than she thought she was. Like that was like an insult to her very being at the time.
I'm not drunk. Okay.
Yeah, no,
That's
it wasn't.
when
No, it
you
wasn't
know
quite
you're
that
drunk.
bad. But yeah,
The words "I'm
what
not
about
drunk"
you, Trip?
equals you're smashed. Yeah, Trip.
Yeah.
Did you get drunk?
I
Did Kate get drunk?
we had a pie at ours the other weekend.
You have a pie at
Oh,
yours
nice,
every
yeah.
time. Tell us something
And
do,
nice.
that's
don't you?
great. But
These
I
young
wasn't.
people.
But I think it's different. I think what Simon's describing is like there's a feeling where there's a point where you've gone too far,
Too far.
and then it's like I may as well just keep going at this point because I'm gonna have such a bad hangover, so I may as well just go for
keep
it.
going.
It's when you go in it's when you go in the bathroom and like the room is spinning and you're just
Oh,
like,
no.
okay,
Oh no, it's when you
fucked
lay
it.
in bed and then you're
I
like,
fucked
"Bah,
it."
bah, bah,
Oh,
bah."
when you close your eyes and the room goes, you're just
Do you know
like,
this
oh,
seriously?
no.
Do you know seriously? The last time I was like that was when we did episode. What was it? Must have
when
been
you
when
had
we
You
had loads of
were-
whiskey and I
Yeah.
laid on the bathroom floor. That
no.
was the
Yeah,
last
I remember
time.
that.
Oh, that was rough.
That was a wild one.
But yeah, what was your home news trip?
Mate, home news. I've been not too busy because I purposely kept my weekend free because obviously we had nationals less than 10 days ago. So last weekend, like this weekend, I just kept it free because I was like, I need to not do stuff for a weekend. So just been doing house stuff and enjoying the sunshine, but just like Kate's been very busy too. She's got a couple of shows coming up. So just took the time to do some house stuff that needed to get done. Otherwise it was not going to get done. And other than that, yeah, not too bad. I came back from Nationals weekend. I didn't lose my voice, but at work, I was like, I can tell I spoke almost
all
non-stop
weekend.
Should we
for
talk
like
about nationals? We moved
20
in.
hours.
Should we segue into nationals?
Let's segue into nationals. My home news is basically just like was
The fallout.
nationals and then
Don't
the
do
fallout
anything.
from that. Yeah, then
yeah.
don't do anything because I was tired. But it was great though.
Okay. Do we talk about it?
Yeah.
Do we
talk
talk
about it?
Should we talk
Yeah.
about it? I don't want to talk about
Well,
it for too long.
nationals. Of course we should talk about nationals.
Yeah, nationals. All of nationals and everything the internet brought to nationals.
Everything.
Should we get this out of the way?
Yeah, should we get this out of the way? We're a UK podcast.
Should we all give our opinion and then we'll release our own videos individually with our take on the matter over the course of the next week? And we can, whoever comes up with the most clickbaity heading,
absolutely.
title wins.
And I tell you
I
what,
was there. That will be my one.
So once again, everyone, UK Nationals.
He did it.
UK Nationals had an incident on stream involving a pummel. Now we've been there before, and in Nationals 1, I'm going to call it Nationals 1, back in 2020. 2021. This happened. Matt Folks versus David Dyson on stream.
Yeah, and Dyson
a
forgot his trigger.
A trigger wasn't declared and it was forgotten, and the pummel was not as effective as it should have been. Now, we had a very similar incident. A similar incident happened in the semi-finals. What was Katsu doing with pummel in their deck? A Katsu pummeled a CNC. No. It goes back a turn before that. The Katsu chose not to pop Tomotai with the CNC so that they could then play it and pummel it, which they then did. They played the CNC and they pummeled it. And before any card discard was announced, before any triggers were resolved, the Katsu drew up their hand and started the next turn. And the apparent villain of the piece Mr. Jamie Faulkner, would then ask the judge if it was then okay to draw up and continue with the next turn. And the official judge line on that whole play, Jamie having not discarded a card, is that the trigger was missed. The Katsu player drew up before that trigger was.
God, you know what? I'm even
enacted.
bored hearing this for the 50th billionth time, and it's even on our. And we were there. This is
the way to kill the kill it.
I think you'll find Colin Robinson
we know.
is taking in residence.
I feel, you know, when someone just gets that like a blunt knife and just goes
just slowly inserts it.
Anyway, so let's finish there and say that nothing wrong. No. So you said you were bored.
No,
anyway,
I'm not bored.
Oh yeah, bored.
We know what happened.
The official line is that nothing was missed. Like nothing bad happened. You can't rewind it. You couldn't rewind it to where it needed to be, so it carried on.
Cool.
The reaction on social media has been epic.
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
Napalm is what I'm going to go with.
I just want to. I have a good a friend I used to work with. I don't work with them anymore, but they were like big on Twitter, and they were like thousands of followers and used Twitter a lot, and they worked in like marketing and blah 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 blah. And they just tweeted once, like one random day, and all they said was, "You don't have to tweet." And that has been your
mantra,
shining light for Twitter since that point, which is just to say to everybody, you don't have to tweet.
No.
You can put your phone down. You can go outside, and you can get on with your life.
You could quite simply. Now I can close the door. My wife has returned from the pub. Speaking of going out, getting getting smashed, Simon, on a Monday. So now I'm safe. So that my daughter wakes up, so she will deal with it.
Podcast.
Okay, it is. You don't have to tweet. I tell you what, if you don't like something, you have to, just. I think it's probably better if we just, have you rant to your group about it. Maybe just not throw out, cheating as a big thing. I think both sides could have just played this a hell of a lot better. But ultimately, you're right. Just don't tweet. I've always had this thought of, I'm pretty sure someone's saying some shit about me, right? If I've said something silly. Or even if I've done something silly on this podcast or casting or whatever, I'm sure someone has said something silly about me. But you know what? I don't know. I just simply don't know. Do you know why? Because I'm not in that space. So just don't. When things get hot, just take a step back, put some empathy glasses on, and just go, yeah, fuck it, I won't tweet. I've said it now. How long?
It's all right. We're 18 minutes.
We're deep in now. God, this piss water, man.
No, you can't just keep chucking them in there.
It's wild. I've seen some tweets for some very big fab content creators and videos, and my oh my, some wild shit. But at the same time, if you don't like the look of it, it's fair enough. But
the one thing
there's a lot of other stuff attached to it. I'm like, just be mindful what you're doing here.
Yeah, the only real thing I want to say is about like the allegations of cheating, and I think people just need to consider that, because I just want to give a huge shout out to Jason. He's a friend of ours. He was judging that game.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the table, and made the correct judge call.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's established now, unequivocal in the rules of the game. Made the correct judge call. So I just want people to consider, when you accuse someone of cheating, you're essentially saying the judge didn't do their job properly, and I don't think that's really fair, considering that Jason made a incredibly huge judge call that he probably knew was going to be controversial, and he made the correct call. So I just think people just need to be careful about that kind of language, because it's not about Jamie. It's not just about Jamie when you're saying something like that. You're calling the UK judging into disrepute at the same time, and I don't think that's fair, because they judged it correctly. So just something to be aware of, I think, when people are commentating on it.
I can tell that people just see what they see on Twitch, and they make an assumption on what's going on. And when people saying that the casters, i.e., us. Never picked it up. We're
We
like,
saw it happen. We were just
we're
like,
like,
yeah.
we definitely saw it, but there is also a level
You
of
verbalized it
casters.
as well.
Yeah, it's a level of casters where we
Yeah.
have to sort of keep the flow of the game going, right? And we ran round and definitely, and I spoke to Jason and I went, "Did you see?" And I said, "Did you see it?" Yeah, I saw it. He missed it. I was like, "Good." Literally, everyone who is here, just went, "Yeah." Apart from you, internet. Just be mindful.
Yeah, I mean,
And Trip's right. You did. You slammed the judges. It was, they made a call, and then you just took it amongst yourselves to just go ape shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I think you're just disrespecting everything. Just take a chill pill, man. Don't tweet, and that's it.
All right, 90
Unless there's any
Hamish.
more.
All right, that's enough.
That's
no,
enough.
that's enough.
Yeah, and
that was the that's a shame, isn't it?
On
more-
the casting, it was like, like DM Armada was like tweeted my tweet. It was just saying we made the right call to just continue to cast the game and everything. And just
Well, that's
shout
all
out
you
to
can
him.
do,
What you can do.
Because it's just like what our job's not there to be like stop the game, right?
Well,
Can you
at the end of the
imagine
day,
in a
we're
professional
not
tournament being
judges,
up in,
are we? We
being
are
up in the casting booth and being like, everybody, just stop what you're doing. I've seen an infraction.
Yeah.
You're meant to cast what you see, and you can't just And there's time. Like I think the other thing was like people were saying like, why didn't the casters see it? It was like, well, we did see it, but like there's other things going on, and we have time. It's fab. This isn't like Formula One.
Yeah.
we have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We can get round to it.
This is the 2CV Grand Prix. There's loads of time.
It's really okay. We can take our time and just like get round to the decision. But anyway, let's not talk about it
I tell you
anymore.
what, that's
Let's
the
go.
That's the
But
thing.
I want to shout out Hamish's the interview that Hamish did with Flake. You should check out that interview on Instant Speed podcast, because I think Hamish articulated himself very well on that, and I think Flake did as well. So I think if you want, like, I think we're happy to say, like, if you want the push the point opinion, go check out that interview.
Where to find it. Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that you guys also agree. But the thing is, it's so boring. We never really talked about it. It's like
I know we've been through it a lot.
I've
been tired, man.
Let's talk about something more exciting.
Let's
talk about something more exciting. Hamish,
what?
Your playing performance all weekend.
Yeah, let's actually talk about all the amazing things. Yeah, the actual tournament.
Tell me, how did you get on?
How did I get on? So I did overall. It was 8. What was it? 8-5? Is that right? No, 8-4. That's 12 rounds.
8-4.
Yeah, 8-4.
12 rounds.
Yeah. So did well. Came exactly 24th. Now, on the last round, I was 17th. I did concede, so to let one of my players get in. Well, one of the guys I was coming in to get into the top 8, he was going to get locked in. I wasn't, and to be honest, it was it is what it is, and I just sort of thought, leave it as that. And I think we had a little play around game. I think I would have got that one. I'm just saying, but that was a muckabout game. But I think I would have got that.
It's always a bit different.
It is always a bit different.
You felt confident in the matchup, but there was no way for you to make top 8 and the person you were playing against. Like it's just tournament stuff.
Oh, I'm not just. I don't know how to justify why I made that decision. I'm just sort of sitting there going, you know what? If I actually just went, if I was going to play it, I reckon I could have.
You never know.
Gone 9-3.
You never know.
But I never know. I came 24th. I was really, really surprised that I did a 2-1, 2-1 on draft. That's what surprised me more than anything. And Trip, shall I tell you about the story about my first draft?
Oh, can we swear now? Yeah.
Is there anyone that hasn't heard this story?
I'll tell you what, Trip thought hearing about soul food was boring, and then the UK pummel showed up, and it
was 8:45 on the Saturday of Nationals Day 1, while pummels were being missed. Soul foods were being played, and all was good in the world. I drew it go first, and then I did it again because I'm a good flesh and blood player.
Look, I drew soul food on my opening hand, and I was going first as Prism. And that deck on my first draft should never have got 2-1 in the history of ever. But as tournaments go, that's how it goes.
When you start with like 4 cards in soul or however many you had. turn one's pretty G, right?
Yeah.
So
I was very happy considering I never have to draft Monarch ever again, and my send off was, well,
well,
I've managed to make soul food good before I'd never
I,
open another one again.
I think Monarch is a fun draft. I would definitely be down to
No,
draft
what was your
Monarch, but
opinion of Monarch?
not a tournament level. It's
No,
fun. It's fun.
no.
It's a fun casual draft format for sure. I really like it.
I
If people aren't taking it too seriously, it's pretty
it
deep.
still
I
doesn't
agree.
beat
I think
Tales of
casual
Aria.
is good.
No, I'm not saying that.
No,
No.
not
Did I
saying
say
it's the
that?
best. We're
Did I
just
say
saying it's
that?
an O.
Did this guy say that?
Monarch
How
draft has
ridiculous.
come in for a lot of flack over the last few weeks, and I think it will get a little bit more flack.
Bring back
It's
Tails.
really weird because
Um,
Monarch has
Was it
been getting
Mark? Is it
more.
Mark Draft Fab Mark said it feel I think he tweeted and I think he said something like it's a fun draft format, but it feels like it's still a bit stuck in the old four hero old ways of doing draft, and Fab has moved on since then to a more interesting kind of draft, or to paraphrase him. And I was like, yeah, I kinda like that take. Everybody knows that Uprising Draft is the superior format, but then there's some really interesting draft formats around that, like
God.
Tails and Outsiders are pretty fun. I would love
Yeah.
to redraft Tails.
Do you
man.
honestly rate Uprising Draft?
Yeah, it's great.
absolutely,
Like,
actually. Yeah.
It's the best. I won my Road to Nationals thanks to
Oh,
Uprising
it's
Draft.
no,
So why would
no.
I?
Uprising Draft was.
The best.
No, to be
format
fair, there's
ever
one the
created.
one we never played, which I've heard is the lowest of tier, is Arcane Rising. I've been
Well, it's too warped, isn't it? It's too,
yeah, that one
yeah,
does look
it's
pretty
too-
wild.
There's we've drafted Arcane Rising.
No, we did
we,
sealed.
draft-
We
did-
drafted it.
we drafted it at Pro Tour
At what? At Pro Tour, sorry, yeah.
Oh,
with
how was
Session
it?
Blood
Ah,
With
half
Session
Session
Blood
Blood.
and Matt Rogers, yeah.
how
and
was
Matt
it?
Rogers. Yeah. It's
Uh,
great. That was the best
it-
draft I've ever done.
Oh,
is
well,
great.
no,
Mainly
but
because we
as a
were playing
draft
with
set,
Matt
what's your
Rogers.
thoughts?
It's mainly for nostalgia more than anything. An induction chamber changes that draft.
Oh,
I'm not sure if
I'll
Matt
tell you
Rogers was
what.
playing it, but he was watching.
There you go. Leave a comment on this one if you haven't, right? Or give us a message. Rank your best to worst draft set.
Great question.
That's a good one. My best is Tales of Aria. I loved it. Maybe because I did well, but I think actually when I drafted it, I felt like I understood it, and I felt like I was able to just like leaning to two heroes pretty early, and
Arasunda.
well, whatever. But I felt like that set just felt like I could lean into different stuff really well, and I think every hero was actually really good at winning.
Tails is great
Yeah.
because you can draft an element, right?
Yeah.
And leave yourself super open, and then pivot, which is just not something you could do in any other Flesh and Blood draft.
Because it's almost
that's
like every
not a
card
thing,
was close.
but it's so good.
Yeah, every card was like close enough to just really being as wide reaching as possible. And that's my problem I had with Uprising, where really it was very much his three people. They don't really share. Two of them kind of do, but none of them really share.
Even then, not really either. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Icelander?
like a little.
Yeah, the cards are
No,
very
no, no.
different.
That's what I agree. I agree. That's what I was saying. When you said two of them a little bit, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
even
I've
then,
always-
not really. Like
Even then, not
Dromai and
really.
Fly, like that's what you're getting at, right? And then I was,
yeah, because
I
they
was
have
thinking,
Draconic.
even then, it's like actually they don't really
They want
share
different
that
things,
much.
yeah.
It's like,
That was like
we
three
can fight over the
distinct-
Blaze headlongs.
Yeah,
but like,
three
yeah,
distinct
maybe.
heroes with 8 people. It just, I think it was impressive they managed to make an illusionist work and a ninja and a wizard work in a set. That's actually impressive. But I think after that, I'm like, it's impressive that you did it, but it doesn't make it the best set for us to draft. Whereas Tails felt like it was really reaching round to lots of different, like you said,
Yeah.
I pick an earth element, I'm already locked in for 2, and then I'll go, okay, I've got an ice. Now I can go on the other one. Like I could actually play all 3.
Let's
Anyway,
pull
I
it
think-
back to nationals. But that was a good chat. But let's pull it back to nationals. And Simon, why don't you tell us about your?
Yeah,
nationals
Simon,
weekend?
how was your...
You had a bit of a. I think it'd be fair to describe as a little bit of a roller coaster.
I had a bit of a rough ride. I'll start off by saying my lack of preparation was absolutely evident in all aspects of
even
my
CC?
day one. CC, I only played 3 rounds of CC. So the first round I got absolutely rolled by a Rhinar, which was unfortunate. I sat down, saw Rhinar, thought, yeah, this is a good matchup.
Yeah, I thought that would have been easy.
And then, I mean, he had a hell of a game. He had a hell of a game.
I think he does that to every single person ever, right?
Turn 1, he rolled scabs, got 2 action points, needed them. Turn 2, did the same. Turn 3, 4, and 5, he got blood rush bellows each turn. So I mean, I had no chance.
No.
But he was a really nice guy to play, and
that was Simon,
enjoyed
right?
chatting. Another Simon.
He's a London player. He's been playing Rhino. OG.
Yeah, and he obviously knew the deck, and he played it well. And I enjoyed sitting and chatting with him.
Did you make him roll your dice just to make sure?
No.
I'm joking.
I'm not that petty.
No.
I've seen him roll plenty of ones. Don't worry.
Round 2 was against Briar, played by Steve Thompson, who is a really nice guy in the UK scene. He's been around a long time. And again, we've played each other a couple of times over the years, and he got his own back on me this time. I think I beat him last year at Nats, and I was on Briar. This year he was on Briar.
I didn't realise it was one of those play-by-play. I would have done that for me.
Well, you just asked about my CC.
Oh, yeah,
so
everyone who played me, I love you.
And then I won the last game, and I did a bit of a Katsu high roll versus Leviah.
Did you win that Briar game? Sorry.
No, I lost it. It was one of those close games where it came down to like the crunch turn, and I couldn't push enough, and he held enough back. And
when it's so rough. Although I've never, it's not a dig. I don't know. I've never experienced it for some strange reason. But it's so. I have in smaller events. 0-2 in just makes you. It's kind of.
It was. I probably tilted off the face of the planet at that point. And got into draft. I drafted a busted chain deck with 18 arcane damage. The words
busted and chain work together in draft. That was my walking going. I'm not drafting chain.
Wow.
It's a high risk, high reward. If you're the only chain in the pod, which I was, I had enough to, and I went 2-0, and then I came up against the Prism, and I knew what I should have done, and I didn't do it. I think it would have been a much better game if I hadn't got carried away with shackling, and I just shackled myself to death.
Okay.
Again, then went into second draft, and it was a much weirder draft. I think there were 2 chains, 3 Boltons, 2 Prisms, and a Leviah or something crazy.
Which one were you?
I was one of the 2 chains. So because there were 2 chains, neither of us had enough power to get through.
Can I ask a question? Why?
Yeah.
Why did you pick chain? I have a feeling you know chain.
So I do know chain.
Yeah, because you played chain quite a lot. Did you just go use my comfort pick?
Can I just jump in? I just want to say, chain did super well at the top table. So I wouldn't. And we're not talking one chain. So
I'm just going from my experience.
And Rob Cam went 3-0 chain against and beat a 2-1 chain so it would have been either of them would have been the 3-0 chain. So it does work.
I do know chain, and I do know how to draft chain well. I would like to say, but there were some very good players out there. I would say in both drafts I drafted the correct seat. I drafted the correct hero for the seat I was in. In the first one, it was things like pack 1, 2 yellow vexing malices in pack 1 wheeled round the table, and I took them with 3 or 4 picks left of the first pack, and I was like, right, I'm the only chain. I must be the only chain. In draft 2, I think I took a Seeds of Agony pick 2 pack 1, and then a red Seeds of Agony, and then there was a Sonata in one pack. There was a Sonata Arcanix, an Ebon Fold, and another good chain card that came round in the same pack. And I was just like,
I didn't think Sonata was good in draft.
It's not that good. It's just nice. It's a nice card.
Right.
I took the Ebon Fold, but there were reasons to believe that I was in a good chain seat. It just happened that there was a chain about 3 seats up on my left, so it was what it was. Neither of us had a hugely high-powered deck. So it was a bit of a shame. I basically came out of day one 4-5, not feeling good about myself and feeling very tired. As I say, I hadn't put the prep in. It showed, and not just in terms of playing the cards, but in terms of mentality of how to deal with the losses. Right?
Yeah,
I think that's a big thing. And so I decided to drop after day one and play the PTI on day two, the PTI Blitz event.
I felt like that was the first time I've ever seen you drop.
It is the first time I've ever dropped. First time I've ever dropped from a Fab event. So
how did you?
I was
How does
sort
that
of
feel?
torn. Yeah, I felt defeated. Like I felt like
You felt like you really wanted some dessert at Pizza Express. Like,
oh, don't get me started on that.
Mate, if we cannot chat about Pizza Express, I will actually lose my shit. Like, I bet
That was such a good meal.
That's pushed the
but
point.
It was
No, it was
so,
not. It was the worst meal.
The food was great because
No, it
it was
wasn't.
Pizza Express.
It was dreadful.
No,
we're not right. We're not even going to talk about it. We're going to go back to Fab.
Yeah, Pizza
If you
Express.
want, if you want the Pizza Express rant, you become a Push Point patron. I'll do a private podcast just for you on the Pizza Express rant. But go back to Fab. Sorry, back to Fab.
All right. I honestly felt defeated. I felt like I came away from day one. I've never dropped from a Fab event before. I usually play out. I usually am in the hunt for something or other, and it just felt really hollow.
It's a sad sight. Can you get to the bit where you won 1,000 games of chain? Bring it back, Simon. Bring it back.
Yeah, I know this violin music.
We're in the depths of like,
I get my small violin.
Boy, so, but no, there is redemption.
On Sunday, it was the PTI Blitz event, and I think there were 56 entries in the end. I was one of them. I decided that this was going to be my redemption for the weekend. I was going to play out my chain deck.
The Tiger starts playing.
My trusty chain deck that I haven't changed since Worlds 2022.
Yeah.
And I went on a streak 3-0. I played at my second chain mirror of the day at round 4. And I went 3-1. I then won my remaining games to make it 5-1 to get into the top 8.
Nice.
Now, imagine my surprise when I see the top 8 listed and who's playing who. In position 1, there was a Reinar, Francesco Giorgio.
Hey,
classic.
And then what was and just to be very quick, what was everyone else?
Would you like to guess? What hero
just
was
tell
at
us. I
number 2?
already know. We know
something.
We know the answer. Christ, this is so long.
It was 7 chains.
And everyone else was chain. 1 Reinar, 7 chains.
Yeah.
That you could type that in. I wouldn't. It could be not safe for work. But
no, I can see the image in my mind.
1 Reinar, 7 chains.
So yeah, I had a good day. I got into the top 8. I beat 1 chain mirror, which was Isaac Murray, who's one of our locals. I beat a second chain mirror, which was Kashi, another great UK player. And then I came up against Matt Duggan for a 3rd chain mirror in a row in the final. And unfortunately, I couldn't take that one down. So
Simon
we
had
came
one
away.
more game to go to Worlds.
We came away. I lost my chance at playing Worlds. But we did split the gold foil, so I now have half a share in a gold foil
on
Halo
YouTube.
of Illumination.
Yeah, which you may have seen on YouTube. So on our shorts, there we go. That was our
redemption final.
Oh man!
And there was a lot. There was a lot of amazing things that went on at UK Nationals. The venue was a little bit different.
It was great,
but it was much better. I thought it was right next to the hotel. The little lights around the side, little sparkles. It was amazing. Trip and Sean, you did an amazing job casting.
Oh, the casting was great.
And as per usual, Alan and Barry rocking up with the stream gear and laid down again another awesome stream. Maybe we need to get.
I think my favourite bit, Hamish,
yeah,
was how validated Trip felt after day 1 that he chose to stream and not play.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing?
I can talk about the casting if you guys want.
No, I don't, because we've got hours of footage. We heard.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking.
That was the
No, what
footage.
was-
Oh yeah.
We could
Well, I
we
just
could hear
wanna-
it all. I'm
Well,
joking. What was
these
your
two
thoughts behind the
guys were.
scenes?
Well, these guys were playing. I was casting with Sean. We arrived. When was it?
Oh,
Friday night.
no. When I hear the
Sean
words,
drove up to my driveway.
once upon a time.
And then I walked outside.
No,
and then
Trip,
I got
please.
in the car.
Please.
And then we stopped
this
at a
narrative.
rest stop. It was a pretty tight one, but I managed to
be right
take it
back.
down. Take it down. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was that? What actually happened? It was a crazy weekend, right? So, I had the choice to cast or play, and you don't get the opportunity to cast very often. Living Realms did remunerate us for the casting as well, so it was a paid gig, and you don't get many paid gigs in the game of Fab size very often. We wanted to take the opportunities that they came up, and I said to Hamish at the end of the second day, I said it really felt like Push the Point had kept a lot of momentum out of the calling, because we had such an incredible experience of the calling, being paid to cast, being put up in hotels to cast, putting on an amazing show for you guys. We were so proud of that event, and I wanted to keep doing it. And even though I had the opportunity to play, I decided to cast it instead with Sean, and I want to give a huge shout out to Sean.
Big
Sean is
shout out
not
to Sean.
a primary front of house guy, as you well know. He runs the streams. That's not something that he really
definitely
enjoyed
not his
it.
comfort zone, is it?
But I think he would be fine with us saying that. But huge kudos to him for putting himself on the front and center of the stream for the 2 days. The one I got a couple of takeaways, but the first takeaway is it's too much. You can't do it to people, guys. It's too much. You can't cast 12 games, 15 games in 2 days without a break. Don't do it to yourself. It's not worth it. You need 3 people. You need some time. You need a break. Because oh my god, day one I was like feeling it. I was like, this is the best. I wasn't tired at all.
I think didn't the draft gave you a bit of a break, didn't it? When we had to do our draft.
No, not
because
me.
you did a meta report.
Not me, because I went on with the meta report with Baz.
Oh my god,
and
you're
then
nuts.
we reviewed. So I didn't have I was literally talking from 9 to 8, so 11 hours. So on for 11 hours, and so it's not just working for 11 hours. It's on stream for 11 hours.
On stream,
which is crazy.
This is what I said after Metropole Ruhr, though. Like, it's such people don't realize how much effort it takes to really gel those games, right? But
I felt great. I felt so good. And then day 2, I was like, Jesus, I feel. Well, I was saying, like, day 1 didn't have a migraine, didn't have a headache.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know me, I get lots of migraines. But like day 1, I felt great. Day 2, I was like, okay, I feel hungover. I literally feel hungover today. Still really, really good. Thankfully, we had the quality was so strong on day 2. Like, the quality of games in the UK is insane. The plays that are happening, the players, like some of these players I've never even really picked up on. People that maybe top 8 did at last nationals or did really well at the calling. The quality of CC in the UK.
I feel like someone's going to clip what you're saying and play it over all the misplays on the stream.
They can do. They can do, because
it'll be funny. But you're also right.
I'd like to see the mistakes that weren't just the pummel, because I was saying to James, head judge, I was like, if you had that one thing which your team got 100% correct, FYI. In terms of the judging, there was very little mistakes on stream, especially on day 2 when the quality was obviously the highest you're going to get. And like, some of these players play so cleanly. I mean, huge shout out to Alex Chitu, Nathan, and Harrison. Like, Nathan and Harrison, I think both went out in the quarters. Those 2 players had not really been on my radar up until UK Nationals. They play some incredibly clean flesh and blood, I gotta say, and talented and competitive and strong, as testament to them getting into the top 4.
Yeah.
And then obviously we all know Alex Chitu, very, very strong, clean player of the game. So huge shout out to them.
Well done, Shin.
Oh yeah, Shin got top 8, right?
Shin got top 8. Johnny Chapman got top 8.
So bringing it back, I from the casting point of view. So my main takeaway is have breaks, guys. Don't try to kill yourself. You don't need to do that. It's I've tried it. It doesn't work. Give it a go if you want to, but don't do it.
I haven't done it yet. I'm the only one that hasn't done it yet. You used to have done all dayers.
Yeah, Simon's one doesn't. Sorry, Simon. I don't want to take anything away from you, but
Oh,
it's
whoa.
completely different
Whoa, Battle
when you're at
Harden's are
home
rough.
than being out in the real
It's
world.
different. It's not. I mean, the difference
still
was
hard.
doing 13 rounds in a day or 12 rounds in a day.
Mm.
Like that is tough.
Yeah. And the
But
only way
you
I
are
could
at
lie
home.
down was to lie down on the floor on the second day, as you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
probably both saw. My second thing I wanted to take away was getting to cast in person with Shin Sharif. Was a absolute pleasure. Me and Shin have casted a few tournaments in the past, and it was such a like me and so as you may know if you're a long time listener to the podcast, both me and Shin started playing Flesh and Blood at pretty much exactly the same time. We went to Simon's Learn to Play event together. It was online, which during lockdown. Been playing Flesh and Blood ever since. So getting to cast with him was a absolute pleasure. And Shin is a very, very talented caster, and it was always good to get on with him. So that was fantastic. And the other thing is just that, like, I know there's been all of this stuff around the Jamie Pummel and Twitter and everything, and the witch hunting, and I feel like in the UK on
As
the
per
Discord,
usual,
nobody
not a
is
single-
talking about it.
No.
no, the whole
Nobody
country's fine.
cares.
The whole country's
Everyone
fine.
in the UK is like, we had the best. Like it was such a fantastic tournament. Like, got to meet all the people you met on the Discord, play at a really competitive level. Even if you didn't do very well, you got to draft Monarch First Edition. There was no cut this year, so you could play day 2 if you wanted to and go for that top 24. It just felt really positive. I have to say, like LSS, give Living Realms more events, give them more challenging.
Oh,
more,
yeah.
Fabio probably doesn't want to hear this, but like
No, he
give them
does.
more challenging events to run.
Well, maybe
like
not that bit.
push them because they are doing such an incredible job. The calling was a standout success, and I think it's fair to say that in the past people have levered some constructive criticism to Living Realms. About we talked about the battle hardens. There was some constructive criticism coming out of that, and I'd really like to hear from the people. Like, I'm not calling you out, but like I would love to hear like how you feel now.
Where are
like,
you
do
now?
do you feel that Living Realms has improved? Because I feel like they've taken on some of that constructive criticism and have made themselves better. And that's exactly what you want from a tournament provider.
Yeah,
is not complacency. It's being aware that this is not an easy position for them.
Well,
They've not been in the
under
business
the
forever.
microscope almost,
They're still
isn't
trying
it?
to prove themselves. Yeah, under the microscope. And then that leads to a better end result. So
I feel like
but
you're
my-
doing the gladiator when you're like that. Just in your head, you're going, "Are you entertained? Are you
Yeah,
entertained?"
but that's all you want in life, right? Is you want to be able to know that your criticism is listened to and taken on board.
God, that felt like a
leads
long
to-
time ago, wasn't it? Was it literally January of this year? The Battle Harden.
I think it actually was.
Yeah.
No, it can't be.
Yeah,
can
it was. It was
It
January.
was January in
this year.
Leeds, wasn't it?
That is actually
It feels
wild.
like
That feels like a
complete
lifetime
universe
ago.
ago.
It's 9 months ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Isn't it? How crazy is it that like our nationals had a prize wall, right? Like
Oh, it was
that's
great.
amazing. Like
Did it?
it's so
oh,
good.
I didn't actually
like
notice that bit.
yeah, but
Oh,
like
I was too busy. I was too busy locked in the tournaments.
It feels like we're on a different level, and it just feels great. And I think a lot of that is the coverage. The one thing I want to say, like, I think LSS, like, this is obviously so self-centered and like looking after ourselves, but I think LSS does need to think about like putting in some more formal structures for how to support live streaming and casting of Flesh and Blood, because I feel at the moment the game is getting so much growth and so many eyes on it through the streams and through. It seems to be an expectation now that nationals events
will be
should be
streamed.
on stream and increasingly so should be
I-
casted, and there still isn't sort of a formal
Can I debate that?
process in place for that. Yeah, you can debate that if you like.
Yeah, I empathise on their side on why that's also an incredibly difficult ask as well. I think it's one of those weird things is when you look at America and you look at what they're doing and you look at their like how they do their stuff. It's purely because obviously there is a legitimate like business that is making a hell of a lot of money, and they've got a lot of money to throw in to put that money into marketing, and then everything else is the game store. Do you know what I mean? Like SEG.
I don't know what you mean. What are you
No.
saying?
So when it's saying that LSS, you need to throw in some more structures on
Yeah,
how to do the streaming and
I think,
casting. I think that's
yeah,
actually it's gonna like, oh wow, like I think there is got to be a start of something, of a
yeah,
conversation around what could that mean, what could that be. But at the same time, I think they're also relatively happy as well with just letting the community pick that up and not have an expectation. And that way, the Greek nationals, the Swedish nationals, all these other different nationals, which have a varying different tiers of quality, it's still just, it's theirs, isn't it? It's theirs for yours to take. And
I
we
think that's
are
what
pushing that as a community thing, from us casting to Alan streaming and Barry doing it. Do you know what I mean? We're all just muck it in, kind of like everyone else.
I
but we're
don't
bringing
really,
the
I don't
bar
really
up.
understand what you mean in terms of like why that can't be combined with like more formal. Like, I'm not talking about remuneration. I'm talking about like we have support structures in place for like cosplay and for like content creators.
I think that depends on the
then
event. For a national, I think
but I think
for a calling,
you're
you're right.
you're picking at points that don't need to be picked at until you've decided like we is the idea of considering casting and streaming in the same way that you could like think of someone
I
like
think it
Alan, for
depends on the
example,
event.
that doesn't get access to like the content creator support that we get access to on Push the Point. It feels like a bit of an interesting one where the streams are the streams are providing a really good service, but they're kind of falling through the gap of like where could they get like some kind of like
I think
special card like the
honestly, I
players
think
do,
everything is
or like tiered on like how good the like not even like tiered, but just like it's just I don't consider that to be too controversial.
no, it's not
Like,
controversial. I think it depends on the event. I think if you turn around and said we need to have like a streaming support thing for nationals, I think that's incredibly difficult. But
that's not what I said though. I
No,
said
but for
that
events,
I said that we should consider some kind of support thing like we have for the cosplay and for content creators, but for casting and streaming, which I think
I sort of
I think
feel
that's
like
reasonable.
what you could get at their
And
trip is a tiered system. Like cosplay competitions only really happen at calling and above level tournaments,
yeah,
right?
that's very true.
So you could have a tiered, as they have a tier system that describes the event structures, right? So you have everything from skirmish up to pro quest up to road to nats up to.
I think what I'm putting forward here is not a like we shouldn't. This is not a thing to be
I'm
like,
just
well,
debating.
what would the exact price support?
No, exactly.
No.
But
It's just thinking about the general principle of like if and this is something the people like, because obviously we can't speak about this objectively because this is something we're heavily involved with now. So I'd be really interested to hear from like the audience. Like, do you think
if you look, Trip, sorry, carry on.
I was just say, do the audience at home like think that like should there be some kind of some sort of support structure in place that's not this? I'm not talking about like paying casters like per hour or paying streamers per hour. I'm talking about like
an incentive.
Should there be some kind of similar incentive like there is for like content creators and like there is for putting the effort into cosplay? Because like we all had the experience of like meeting the cosplayers at the calling.
I think I'm starting to get what you mean.
Just like a huge shout out to Jody, who recently became cosplay champion of the calling. Who recently became a patron of Push the Point. And like LSS has clearly recognized that like this is a huge amount of effort. We're gonna create sort of a custom product essentially to kick back, right? And like try to ignore how valuable those cards are and think about it more as like this is just a special thing that we've made.
It's a nice thing to do for people.
So I get it. I feel like I get what you're saying.
For, like I casted at, so just to put it from my perspective, and then I'll throw it back to you, Hamish. It's like I casted at the nationals in the UK, and then Alice is just like, that's really cool. Here's this like
appreciation kit
hero, which is like some guy sat at a desk with like casting like the Thunderdome thing that they're clearly pushing, and like that is what
I think I hear. I know what you mean now, and I think that's a really cool idea. An appreciation kit to encourage people and content creators to take up the streaming mantle. And is there a quality attached to that? No, we can't ask for a quality attached to that. It is the quality that you can bring, but obviously it is as everything, and it's what we do, it's what Alan does, it's what most of everyone does. You want to bring the best you can bring to deliver on what you want to deliver.
You want to show off the best product.
But I do also know that they're very much, and I feel that LSS's approach so far has been, instead of us trying to attract people to be a content creator, which is, I will say, it's a streamer is a content creator. Streaming is kind of, you can just put it into that same box to make it a little bit easier. I know it's different, but it's almost the same. It's that same level. Do we have to make something to get people to show up, or do we just give things that just people, to the people who did show up?
It needs to be that second thing. It needs to be this is not, and I think that's the difficulty with the cosplay thing. And I think why they've put so many, like chatting to the cosplayers, that you have to put a lot of work in to even take part in the competition.
Oh, I didn't know that bit.
Is LSS want it to just be like, I'm going to rock up with something.
No, you have to apply. You have to write a story.
£1,000 tunic thing. Yeah. It's like you have to put a lot of work in. You have to keep renewing it. This is my understanding, and it would be a similar situation. But like, I agree, Hamish. I think it needs to be. It's a, and also I think this conversation also is just to give LSS full credit. Like at the calling, financial remuneration was coming directly from LSS. I think we're okay to say that, right?
No, it came via Living Realm. I don't know how much of it came from Living Realm.
To be honest, I don't even want to know where it's coming from, because
we don't know exactly where it came from. But
Living Realms paid us to do this. Yeah. There is a conversation that happens with LSS and Living Realms, who are organising this calling, and Living Realms is in charge of the calling. They paid us to do the gig.
But as everybody knows, LSS does have money, and they spend money on casting. Like, we see that all the time. Like, and that is a good thing.
That is the case.
This is not us saying like the LSS is really stingy. Like, we're just saying, like, for these more, I guess maybe the term to call it is like community casting. Like,
it's appreciation kits.
It's these people like the guys we work with in Poland when we did the Polish nationals.
Ablab,
thank you, and the the French guys, I have Ophidia, who are always doing the French nationals. And it's like it's about saying we recognize that this is not easy work. It's a lot of hours, and it's a lot of work running the streams and creating this. It's like, I'm just thinking, like, is there anything we could do as like an appreciation package for that kind of community casting, where you're not going to get like 1 million people, but it's providing a service for the game that we as players clearly think, as a community rather, not just as players, clearly think is valuable.
Yeah,
and it is valuable for the game because it gets it out there to people that maybe wouldn't necessarily watch it.
Well, I was chatting to
Can we wrap this bit up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Not that bit. That bit, rather, not the podcast, but wrap that bit up.
Can we wrap that section up? Because I just want to move on to something as we close out. Trip, give me a summary of what it means to you to cast and what could make it better.
I find it, so speaking very really, like we've talked like a couple of times this podcast about like how I do have these migraines on a regular basis, and as you guys both know, like, they do impact on my ability to play the game competitively. And like, even if I don't have a migraine, the medication that I take is sort of like causes drowsiness, so then I can't play particularly well. So casting has become kind of a way for me to engage with the game at a professional level without having the kind of worry that I'm just completely wasting my time. Because like at the calling, I had a migraine while I was casting, and I still thought I casted very well. But if I was playing, I just would have played terribly. So it's a way for me to be involved in the game, despite the fact that there's a clear limitation and clear like issue with it. So that is what casting means to me. Like, it is my way to continue to be involved in professional flesh and blood in a way where I can feel confident of doing the best I can do, which was becoming a bit like disappointing for me in terms of professional play, because I would feel like I was being let down by my body.
Awesome.
Irrespective of that, how it could be better, I want this is again not very like self promotion, but I would love to have more people involved in casting, and like I'd like to have a more diverse casting team. And I know a lot of people out there like Shamir and Howling Minds, individuals in the Fab TCG community who are really interested in casting, and I'd love to find a way to enable that and to allow more people to cast. And like bringing Shin on was such a Sharif on was such a pleasure, giving a fresh perspective on casting. And I think having a really open
And you've
view
also
to
got us,
casting is
Trip.
the way to do it better.
It's all
And,
three
but
of
you
us.
guys are so like, and it
Because
as much
it's
as I
only
absolutely
nationals. It's literally the only event
Yeah.
that we're like.
I love casting
I don't
with
know if
Sean.
you
It's the only one.
It's the only one in
that
it.
I was like,
But when
I
I
wanna play
watched
that one.
when I watched Sean and Hamish, so I took one game off because I was not feeling very well. I felt better. I watched Sean and Hamish cast. And I was just like, this is what we need. We need variety. We need to change the cast. Like the calling was so good because it was like every game
there was always a
was
rotation.
different, and like obviously the three of us and the feedback we got is that our chemistry is incredibly good, and we're not just providing the chemistry of
Dale
one team.
told me, my best friend told me that the
Hammer for 4.
Hammer for 4. My friend Dale told me that the best two that just gelled professionally was used to. And I was like,
I think that's because he knows
so
you
I went,
though. Like I think
so I took those Maltesers back off him. So get to fun.
Anyway. Right.
But what?
No, but I'm saying is, we're different.
I know we're
totally
running
different
a little
people
bit on time, but it's nationals episodes. We can go a little bit over. But like,
yeah, but not
I
too
think
much.
what we provide is like it's not just one team. It's like you get me and Hamish, you get Hamish and Simon, you get me and Simon. You're getting 3 different perspectives.
And Sean was different as well. When I catch
Sean
with Sean, I was like,
Sean is so like steady and like really good and just kept the ball rolling. And yeah, it's been it was a real pleasure. I'd love to do it again, but recognize that this is why I wanted to do so much, because you never know when you're going to get the next
opportunity.
Yes, exactly. That's a more optimistic way of putting it, Simon.
And it will come.
That's a nice clean summary, Simon.
Yes. All right. So what I wanted to talk about, I want to get you guys to talk about, are some of these spoilers from the new set. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up.
I have.
Mate, that was such a good one today as well.
Yeah,
I'm so in on this.
Can you give
Trip?
me...
I'm so in on this.
Okay, can you?
So good.
All right, can you guys just give me 2, and you both can share that bloody other one that is it's a garbage card.
It's not. It's actually.
All right,
it's
so
actually insane.
I couldn't care.
I mean,
any ninja card just goes.
Firstly, before we get to wax off, because it's
give me your 2 cards, please. We're on overtime now.
Right.
I need to look at the card.
What did you both think to seeing non-mech cards in the mech set?
Feels like a supplementary set so far.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
I think it's good.
I love it.
Even though like I love the tweet, which was like LSS, we're going to give you a brute card, even though it's a dash only set, because we know you're sad about not getting brute cards. And then it's like brute players like, why is this card so bad?
We hate this card.
The card's totally fine, guys. Chill out.
It's actually fine.
Yeah, we know. I know. The UK's pretty chill.
Well,
anyway,
it's a tech card. It's a tech card.
So what is your 2 cards? You're both going to say wax off, right? Simon,
Wax off is so good. Anyone.
Wait, what card? What do you want?
Absolutely.
Do you want the best 2 cards?
No. Whatever the other card that got you hyped.
Actually, Shriek Razors.
Oh yeah. The new Assassin Legendary gloves.
The new Assassin Legendary. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. That one's got me pumped.
People look at it and they go, "It's expensive. But that's not flick knives."
That's what the chess piece is for. You break the chess piece, and then that's now free. And then you go, "Oh, wow.
It's an interesting card.
It's a shred on the table."
And then you can buy it back because you've probably just got 2 silver for.
Is it the most back-breaking card ever? No. But I think that's the trend we're seeing with these new sets, right? It's not everything past Everfest is like
it's very situational.
This is okay.
I think if you look at the way Azuri plays, they often block with their flick knives and not waste it. They just use it to block, and like that's fine. Yeah. They often keep a blue and try to go like dagger into death touch, and now it's like you don't have to do that. You could go just death touch, threaten, -1 off a blocking card, and now you're sudden
7.
Yeah,
that's not really. That's not an easy feat.
which is off a blue, right? Like a blue and a death touch in Arsenal, or like do something clever with, I don't know, some other bullshit card. But, like,
I think that's an Arachne card.
I like it.
But it's an Arachne card.
I think
honestly
It's definitely a contract
I
card.
think
mean,
Battle Worn is so good, and I love it because it's like
Yeah.
you get to block and you get to do a thing. And I think
By the way,
what I
this-
and
want.
then you get to buy it back.
just to be very
Yeah.
clear, everyone, this is coming out on Friday, and you're probably not even listening to us at this point. But this is recorded on a Monday. I'm sure some Runeblade card would come up, and I'll completely change my mind. But so far, the 2 assassin cards are the ones that get me very hyped. That
Yeah,
new
that's
contract, 3 for 6 or 2 for
2
6?
for 6. 2 for 6.
Yeah, and
Already dead.
already dead. Artwork's cool, name's really cool. It's crazy cool.
That's an Azuri
Yeah,
card.
that's
It's an
no,
Azuri
that's
card.
no, that's an Arachne card for sure. Because if they go, oh, I'll block with a non-attack action card. It could be a Azuri card as well. Don't get me wrong.
I think it's pretty.
No.
I think it's a good.
Assassin card.
It's not non-attack actions. It's non-action cards. It banishes. It wants to banish instants and reactions.
Okay, so if you do the reaction, if you manage to like get that reaction off, you can go, cool. I'll make this hit. I banish the reaction because that's on the table, so
Yeah,
I get
and
a
you get your
silver,
copper
and
back-
I
silver
banish
back.
the top card of your deck as well.
Yeah.
And of course, if they
And
block with an
with
equipment, that's also a non-action card. So you get your silver. We are
Good question.
professional. Flesh and blood players.
We bigged ourselves up knowing
We
about the
haven't
pummel
worked it out
triggers,
yet.
but we haven't worked
I
this
think
one out
pretty much-
yet.
I think I'm pretty sure that's
Now
okay.
let's get to real talk. Trip.
Wax on, baby.
Okay,
What
Wax
do you
off.
think to
You
wax off?
You guys
So
go.
the only downside of Wax Off is that Runeblade is in such a bad position because Briar's gone and Viscerai is not very good. So, but if anyone's ever played around with Zen State tokens are insane.
Do you realise actually how
insane?
No, just Zen State. What is the text of Zen State exactly?
It's like you.
It
you
basically
start with a-
says it
starts with a
prevents 1
balance-
point of
starts
damage
with a
from
balance
each source.
counter. It prevents 1 damage from each source. So rune chance
Not up to
0.
1. So I know that. So
1,
if
yeah.
I went in with a 4, that's a 3.
Yes,
Okay, that card's insanely strong.
and it lasts for 2 turns.
It doesn't matter that if they go, oh, it's coming in for. We all know now that 1 point of knockoff, which is this round's on me, does that. And then
So
we all turn and
Zen
go,
State
wow,
reads-
that's really strong. We know how much +1 to something means a lot. And Zen State goes for 2 whole goddamn turns.
Yeah.
It's might prevent 1 damage.
So the important piece of text on Zen State is whenever your hero would be dealt damage,
Yes.
prevent 1 damage that source would deal.
That's really strong.
It's insane.
It's really
It's-
strong,
to-
and I'm
to-
glad there's
to
only
be-
2 really awkward cards bring that
To be
incredibly
fair,
strong aura on the board.
It's a lot less good when you're making it on your opponent's turn because the trigger to remove the counter is at the start of your turn. So if you make it on your opponent's turn, you're going to get it for the rest.
So why
of
is
that
Wax Off
opponent's
good?
turn. Because it
So
says that
Wax
it
Off
blocks for
says-
2, but if it doesn't really because it actually blocks for 3 because you'll create the Zen State token while you're blocking, and then it's going to prevent the 1
Yeah.
damage.
The wax off says if you've played wax on this turn,
I don't-
create a Zen State token.
Okay,
It's still
can I
one
critique?
whole
Can I just put the
turn of
critique out
play.
here? You need Wax On in your hand to
Yeah.
get this off.
So easy.
Yeah.
easy.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
as
And it's
a
a
side-
majestic.
no, no,
There's
no,
only
no.
3
No,
copies
as a-
of this card.
As a sideboard card, as a sideboard package, putting 2 copies of wax on and 2 copies of wax off or whatever in your deck
There's 0
Oh.
costs.
There's
for Runeblade. This is a 0 cost blue pitch card.
Yeah, that's what Katsu wants.
Now, wax on, it has an increased defense if it's against a 0 cost card.
Yeah,
is that
so
right?
wax on
Yeah.
red is the only playable.
Yeah.
Let's face
Yeah.
it, guys. Like red is the only playable. Yellow's
it?
okay. but,
Yeah, I
like,
thought yellow blocks for 4.
so it's no, so 0. Yeah, so it's 0 blocks for 3. If it's against a 0 cost attack action card, it will go up to 5, which is actually really good.
0 for
that's a
5,
zero
you know,
cost
is very
attack
strong.
5. Yellow one would be kind of it's if you think of the yellow one as kind of like a variant of springboard somersault, that makes it
Yeah.
sound way better. Which is like it's a conditional block 4 that's also a yellow That's
I
actually
remember
not
when
too
Springboard
bad either.
Somersault used to be.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
Carol.
yeah, mate.
That was
Oh,
Carol.
mate.
Carol
Yeah, he
brought
pushed that
Spring.
hard.
He pushed that hard. He was like
Every episode of Session Blood, I was like,
Springboard
I should put
Somersault.
Springboard Somersault on my
I play
deck.
Brute. I'll put that card in.
Apparently-
Why? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Apparently,
Carol
good
said.
players run Springboard Somersault. And I was
They're
like, I
just-
want to be a good player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess pitch Blitz 2 is really strong, I guess. Anyway, yeah,
Anyway, the
you're right.
takeaway is it's actually probably not that crazy. It's probably very good in Blitz because there's a lot of aggression in Blitz, so zero cost cards getting thrown out. The dream is that you block for they E-strike you for 7, you wax on for 5, you wax off for 2, you block 7, you make a Zen State token. It's the best day of your life.
Wait a
ever.
minute.
That seems
It
to
only
be the
blocks
best.
for 2, wax off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's not even a good defense reaction, is it? It
Hamish,
got-
so
No,
we
but-
used to run Blue Sync Below back in the
Yeah.
day.
No, blue flick flat, man. Blue flick
No, Blue Sync Below was in Dory. Do you remember that?
Okay.
No.
Shin
So-
would remember that.
Yeah, we were learners. That was a
Oh, the
learn.
thing
That was
is,
definitely
though,
learn
Hamish,
to play.
the thing is,
We are
the-
such
the
fab boomers right now.
wax off creating a Zen State token in a relatively simple manner. I mean, it's not simple
No,
at all.
it's not
like
simple
you
at
say,
all.
but
Have 2 cards exactly at the same time and play them when you can.
however,
well done.
against someone like Phi, against someone like Viscera, against
so
someone
good.
How many
like
copies of wax off can you put in your deck?
3.
Oh, okay. Just
And-
there's
and
there's no yellows or reds, no.
No, it's a
No, it's a
majestic.
majestic.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a majestic. Oh god, that tastes great. That does.
It's
Garrett.
so good, mate. So good. It's the best.
It won't-
I think you
in the
boys
set.
need to go to bed and wax
It'll
off.
be a
Yeah, you
sideboard.
pound the card. I'm calling it now.
It'll be
Get
a
out
sideboard
your
package.
system, boys. Anyway,
Check out my sideboard package,
check out my
boys.
sideboard package, boys.
Against
Right.
that big aggro decks, I think it will be worthwhile.
Sure.
But it's a bit of a crowbar.
Sure.
Anyway,
Should we end it there?
we should wrap it up because we've all gone a bit delirious.
Because
Yeah.
Hamish is making us realise that it might not actually be that good.
Hamish,
I
don't-
think you're
I
deep-
don't
I
want
think
to
you
live in a
deeply-
world where wax off is not good. So,
No, well, unfortunately, we're in it.
the theming. All right.
such a good theme.
It is a cool theme.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
arguing
we've
that.
upped our energy from.
Yeah, I
from
know.
start.
We
yeah.
built up, right? It was great. I particularly liked.
Oh god,
the bit-
no! Hang on, no! We are not doing. We are not
Should we
doing
do
a best
recap
of
at the
moment.
end?
recap.
So my
In our
favorite
own.
moment
No, right.
is when
Turning
Sean
this off.
drove to my house and picked me up, and then we walked into.
My favorite moment was talking about soul food.
Right.
Thank
what I
you
would
so
like to
much
say
for what
is
would you like to say?
UK Nats was amazing.
It
Can I
was,
just say,
yeah.
UK Nats was
Yes, we
amazing.
know.
I think we all had a great time.
Yeah,
And
if you
I
don't-
am
if
really
you-
looking
if you're only
forward to
getting the
the
news
next
from
big event.
Twitter, I'd recommend not doing that and go into a Flash and Blood tournament, and you'll realize that Flash and Blood is still the same game that it was 2 weeks ago, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. You don't need to worry. But
Don't worry, everyone. Thanks,
and
everyone.
have a break from Twitter.
Yeah, don't tweet.
Love you.
Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.